Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 194 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. This year we're focusing on being a better version of yourself, doing one thing every day to be a better you, doing one thing every day to be a better me. Why? Because I can only impact or actually dictate and control me, my behaviors, my thoughts, my feelings, etc. So today, step 4 of the SOAP process. We're running through the SOAP process on what we decided was a mental health or mental well-being challenge that we wanted to address this time through the SOAP framework. And I picked negativity and negative self-talk. Not that I want more of those, but I want far, far less of those. So today, step 4 it's the P, and it stands for progress. How are we going to know if the steps that we're taking, the things that we're doing, are working or not? Well, usually we find a way to measure those things. Now, in things like mental health and well-being, how do you measure that? It's a very subjective thing. So like yesterday's tool where I said, how action-oriented are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I like to do things like that in order to measure mental health and well-being for myself. Sometimes we do it for our businesses, but through wellness surveys and things. But they're still really subjective, right? Because now you have a whole bunch of people giving subjective information and you tally it all up. And is it really, and I always have to ask myself this, is the number or the result that I'm getting from my measured test in alignment with how I'm actually feeling and what I'm actually thinking and feeling and believing about that particular measure? So for example, I will look at, for reduced negativity, how often during the day, or what am I feeling? Am I feeling like the negativity around me and in my life is not having an impact on me, or less of an impact on me, or more of an impact on me? I find if I get on social media, I get sucked in like a vacuum to the negativity that's going on there. And so I actually have to minimize my time and do little tricks on myself to, for example, in the morning when I process my videos, I will post it, and then, like, for example, I'll go on X, I'll post it on X, and then I have to X out and get out of it as quickly as possible so I don't even see the first post, or I get sucked in. And I know this about myself, and that will lead me down a rabbit hole of negativity that I don't need to be a part of, right? If I'm adding to the negative, or if I'm frustrated or upset about something, I'm adding to the negative in the universe. I don't want to do that. So I'll also monitor my self-talk. How many times, literally, how many times during the day do I consciously become aware of myself using negative self-talk? And I'll tally it on a little Post-it note, and every day I'll look at it, and at the end of the day, I will be very grateful for the times I didn't use negative self-talk, or that I caught myself, because every time I catch myself and substitute it with something else, that's helping me to become a better example and a better version of myself. So those are some things I can actually physically count up, tally up, and measure. If I've got, 50 hash marks on today's and 20 on tomorrow's and 10 on the next days, I can see that I'm making progress and I'm moving toward what it is that I want. So our challenge today is for you to come up with a way that you will know and be able to measure if you're making progress to fill that gap or not. It'll be slightly different for each and every one of us, depending on what we're working on for mental health or well-being, but all of it makes progress. Maybe you decide to see a therapist or a counselor, and you go every week, and that's how you measure it. I'm going every week, and it's helping me, or it's not helping me. And if it's not helping me, we have to reevaluate that. I think the biggest thing about everything we do is self-awareness. Are we aware of the impact we're having on ourselves? And are we aware, which mental health and well-being is all about ourselves, right? Are we aware of that? And if we're aware of it and it doesn't make us feel good, what are we going to do about it? And are we doing that thing? All right. Any questions about this? Progress is pretty easy. We're either moving toward what we want or we're not. If we're staying stuck or going backwards, because sometimes we do something and it makes us go backwards, or sometimes something happens in our life and it makes us go backwards. Sometimes we lose a person or we end a relationship, whatever it could be. And that might mentally put us back a few steps before we move forward again. All right, that's it. Have an awesome day. If I can help, always ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.